game.
Meth
We'd go out and get
addicted
plasters,
mothers.
get fucking faded.
You are not alone.
And that's what we did. So after I graduated high school, I went to college for 2 years and failed out because, of course, I started doing methamphetamine. Once I started doing meth, I moved out by the time I was 19 or 20, and I was a full-blown meth addict, snorting meth to go to work, snorting meth to have sex, snorting meth to do chores around the house. I mean, snorting meth it was a part of my life every single day. So, I was a full-blown addict. I started shooting up methamphetamine because everybody that I kept around me shot up meth. And after so many years of being around all those people, I started shooting meth. Now I didn't just like start hanging out with meth heads. What happens when you start doing drugs like that is you might start buying it from some person. And then you see that person all the time, because if you're an addict, you're constantly buying it. So that's how I would start to become friends with different people, was I needed the drug, so I would get it from somebody, and then we would hang out and use together. And so that's how I started accumulating all these friends that did drugs. And then once since I had become a full-blown addict, I'm living on my own. Me and my boyfriend are both addicts. It was like normal to just hang out with people and do drugs all day. And I would go to work, and then when I would come home, we would do drugs all night. So that was just the normal thing, Me and that guy broke up, and I went years without having another boyfriend. And in 2012, I met my husband. And my husband was actually in a maintenance program trying to change his life and trying to get sober. And when he met me, we both just started going off the deep end and getting high. And that maintenance program just went to the wayside, and we just continued getting high. At this time, I had started shooting up Roxy's, and I was shooting meth, and we were trying to get sober, but then we would not. And then we would try again, and then we would not. So in 2013, we got pregnant. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant, my father-in-law looked at me and he was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I got so offended, you guys. I was like, "No." He was like, "I think you're pregnant." And I was like, "No, Al, I'm not pregnant." Well, 2 weeks later, I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. So I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm going to have an abortion. I can't have a baby. I'm not staying sober. I'm fucked up. I've been on drugs for 15 years. I don't know how to be sober. I don't know how to live life without drugs. And so we sat down and talked to Neil's parents, and they were like, no, you guys can do this. You can change your life. You have a little baby in your belly, and you guys need to do this. You need to get sober. And I thought about it. And see, I had an abortion when I was 24. And so I already had a lot of guilt and shame around that abortion, you guys, because I was addicted to opiates when I had that abortion. And so I said, okay, you're right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get sober. I'm going to get sober, and I'm going to have this baby, and we're going to be a family. For the first month of my pregnancy, I stayed sober, you guys. I white-knuckled it. And then life started happening. Then hormones started happening. Then I had to get a job. And I didn't know how to deal with all these hormones. I didn't know how to deal with stress. I didn't know how to deal with Neil's parents. I didn't know how to deal with anything. So Neil and I both relapsed and started shooting meth again. We would shoot Roxy's, but it was just a constant battle of me fighting with him. We fought my whole pregnancy because I was high all the time, and he didn't want me to be high. But then he would get high, and it was like this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Being high during pregnancy, I felt like the piece of shit that I was. A piece of shit. I felt like a piece of shit. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I couldn't stop. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I would have short periods of sobriety. For those 10 months I was pregnant, 9 months I was pregnant, I would have short periods, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then I would relapse. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and I would relapse. I was really sick during my pregnancy. I threw up all the way till I was 4 or 5 months pregnant. I wasn't gaining weight because I was constantly on stimulants. I didn't gain all my weight until I was about 7.5 months pregnant. And then I gained like 40 pounds all at one time. I wasn't taking care of myself. I could feel the baby. I could feel Nate. I could feel him in me. When I would use, and my heart would be beating so fast. I'm so grateful that he is alive and okay today. And I have so much shame that I couldn't even stay sober to take care of my own child. When he was born, he was perfect. He came out, he has no disabilities, no developmentally delayed situations, no learning disabilities, nothing. He's perfect. He's smart, he's intelligent, he is amazing. But I struggled all through my pregnancy. And the reason I'm making this video is for you mothers out there. If you are struggling, if you are using during your pregnancy, I want you to know that you're not alone and that I've been there, and that if you want to get help, I am here for you. I'm making this video for all the women out there who are ashamed and feel guilt and don't want to come out of the shadows. I'm making this video for you because if I can change my life, if I can get sober from all that shit I was doing during my pregnancy and use that experience now to get on camera and share that with y'all and help somebody else, then you can do it too. See, here's the thing. I'm not going to let my past define me. I'm not going to let that shit take me down. Because today I have a chance to make everything right. I don't have to be that person anymore. Today I will use my experience and I will use my past to help others. I do not regret it. I don't want to shut the door on it. I want to remember that shit so that way I'll never go back. And the thing that I remember the most is I remember having my son and being so afraid that he was going to be hurt. I remember having my son taken from me by DHS 1 year after I had him because I couldn't stay sober. And I will never forget that. That shit keeps me in check because the moment I forget where I came from, the moment I forget that I was a junkie, that I used drugs while I was pregnant, that I couldn't take care of my son, is the moment I'll go back to that life. So I constantly keep that in the forefront of my mind. But I don't let that shit, I don't let it take me down. I don't let the shame bring me to a negative place. I know that I was sick in my addiction then. I take full responsibility for my actions. And today, I am making it right. Today, I am making amends. I'm making a living amends to my son by being the mom that I'm supposed to be and by taking care of him. And I will never put him in harm's way ever again. I will never get him taken. I will never, ever lose my son again.